Hi, Dalton. I wanted to leave you some feedback on your week 2 writing assignment, the rough draft. I like a lot of the things that you're exploring in this text, particularly the idea that, as far as Western society is concerned, we have this tendency to view things from a dualistic perspective, right? You're saying that things are black and white. Um, and I like the fact that, you seem to kind of be teasing out what some of the issues are with that, right? Because that leads us to, well, only having two options or two choices, when really there's a whole myriad of choices with any given, thing that we're looking at. But I think it's partially human nature, and then a lot of it has to do with Western culture, as I suggested, as to why we assume that there's only two choices when really there's not. So I like the ideas that you're playing around with here. I also like your metaphor of the snowstorm, right, and how we guide ourselves through that. I like that you're playing around with that in this piece. So when I was reading this, right, one of the things that I'm kind of looking for is how you can stretch this out into a narrative, and I didn't really see something to explore in terms of a narrative until you got to the point where you had that conflict with your father over religion. I think this idea in here could be a fantastic thing to stretch out to a fully realized narrative, right? Because you're really not telling a story up in this area, like the first page, and even I mean, I think if you explored this further, you could think about this in more depth, right? But up until this point, it's just you're kind of thinking about I think you're kind of thinking about why you feel the way that you do, right? But it's not necessarily a narrative. However, as I suggested, this right here, this conflict that you had with your father over your religious beliefs, this does sound like something that you could stretch out into a fully realized narrative with a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? You just kind of have the bare bones sketch of it here. But I think that this could be this is really what you should focus on for that essay. So this to me hints of what we would call a literacy narrative. And with literacy narratives, what we're looking at is it's a certain type of personal narrative, and essentially, it's how we come to know, right? So in this case, it's how you came to know what your religious or spiritual beliefs are, and usually we come to know in some moment of conflict. So I think you could get a really nice arc there, right? With your middle being, okay, you've had this conflict with your dad, but what's the turning point that really kind of solidified what you believe at the current moment? The only other thing that I don't see here yet is this is not yet situated in place, right? So you remember one of the directions from the writing assignment is to meaning essay one is to describe a place in rich detail. So you want to make sure that you've situated that place clearly for the audience. All right. Well, that's my feedback for you on this. Like I said, I like the ideas that you're playing around with. I think what you want to work on now is getting this into a fully realized narrative, right? A fully realized story with a clear beginning, a middle, and end, and good concrete descriptive details. All right. I look forward to seeing where you take this.